Welcome back to the channel Valuable Coins HD, coin enthusiasts. Today, we're going to talk about a coin that might be sitting in your pocket or even buried in your coin jar, the 1965 Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, it might seem like just another piece of pocket change, but there's a lot more to this coin than meets the eye. Some of these 1965 Washington quarters are worth an incredible amount of money. In fact, depending on its rarity and condition, this coin could be worth a staggering amount. Let's start with a little history. The 1965 Washington quarter was minted during a time of significant change in the United States. The mid-1960s was a period of economic shifts, and this was the year that the United States made a dramatic change to its coinage. The most notable change in 1965 was the transition away from silver. Before this year, the quarter dollar was made of 90% silver, but starting in 1965, the U.S. Mint switched to a clad composition, which was a mix of copper and nickel. This change was made due to a growing silver shortage, and it had a profound effect on the value of the coin. However, despite the change in metal composition, the 1965 Washington quarter still carries significant value for collectors. So, what makes this coin so special? It's all about its rarity, the unique errors that occurred during the minting process, and the condition of the coin itself. These factors can really make or break its worth in the market. Let's start by discussing one of the most coveted features of the 1965 Washington quarter, minting errors. In the minting process, not every coin comes out perfectly. Sometimes, the dies used to strike the coins wear out or become misaligned, leading to striking errors that are highly sought after by collectors. The 1965 Washington quarter is known for having some rare minting mistakes, and these errors can significantly increase its value. For example, one of the most desirable errors in the 1965 quarter is the double die error. This happens when a coin die strikes the planchet, or blank coin, multiple times, creating a ghosting effect or a double image on the coin. This could cause doubled letters, numbers, or even parts of the design, which makes these coins stand out from the standard issue. Coins with double die errors are incredibly valuable because they're rare and offer collectors a glimpse of history that can never be replicated, but that's not all. Another key factor that contributes to the value of the 1965 Washington quarter is its condition. Because these coins were widely circulated, most of the quarters from this year are in poor to average condition. Over time, the coins became worn, damaged, and tarnished from being in people's pockets and passing through countless transactions. But here's the kicker: well-preserved, high-grade examples of the 1965 Washington quarter can be worth significantly more than their face value. If you happen to find a 1965 quarter in near mint or mint condition, it's a major find. Coins that have been carefully stored, protected from wear and tear, and remain in great condition can fetch thousands of dollars more than a typical coin in circulation. Collectors and investors are constantly on the lookout for these coins, especially when they are in pristine condition. Now, you may be wondering, how much can this 1965 Washington quarter really be worth? If you have a high-grade example, or even better, a rare double die error coin, you could be sitting on a small fortune. The value of this coin can reach as high as $85,000, yes, you heard me right, $85,000. For a quarter. It's unbelievable, isn't it? But it just goes to show that in the world of coin collecting, even the most seemingly ordinary coins can be worth a life-changing amount of money if they possess the right characteristics. So, what should you do if you come across a 1965 Washington quarter in your collection or while sifting through your change? First, examine the coin carefully. Check for any visible errors, especially a double die or any unusual misstrikes. Look at the overall condition of the coin and determine if it's in good or excellent shape. If it is, you may have a valuable piece on your hands. Coin collecting is about more than just finding rare coins, it's about discovering pieces of history that can be worth much more than their face value. So, the next time you're looking through your coins, keep an eye out for the 1965 Washington quarter. Who knows? You might just find a hidden gem that could change your life. Today, we have a fascinating story about a coin that could be worth way more than you might think. We're diving into the 1979 Washington quarter dollar, a coin that might just be hiding in your collection or even sitting in your change jar. It's easy to overlook this coin, but trust me, you don't want to miss out on the hidden value this coin could bring. The 1979 Washington quarter may seem like a simple piece of American currency, but in the world of numismatics, it holds a special place. This quarter was minted during an era of change and innovation, with the country moving away from the intense inflation of the 1970s. The 1979 quarter features the classic design of George Washington, a symbol of the nation's strength and independence. However, it's not just the design that collectors are after, it's the rarity, the unique errors, and the minting issues that make this coin so desirable and valuable. Now, let's talk about the rarity factor. While many quarters from 1979 are widely circulated and are pretty common to find, few of them are in excellent condition. Most have experienced wear and tear from years of circulation, which dramatically lowers their value. But here's where it gets exciting. If you have a well-preserved 1979 quarter, one that's in exceptional condition, you might be looking at a significant find. The key to unlocking its value is ensuring the coin has minimal wear, little to no scratches, and retains its sharp details, but it gets even more intriguing when we talk about the minting errors that can make the 1979 Washington quarter worth a small fortune. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the coin production process, creating a unique and unintentional design flaw. These coins are rare and highly collectible. For the 1979 quarter, there are a couple of errors that can increase its value dramatically. One of the most exciting errors found in 1979 Washington quarters is the double die error. This happens when the coin die strikes the planchet, the blank piece of metal, multiple times, resulting in doubled letters or numbers. For example, you might notice that the word Liberty or the date 1979 is doubled or even slightly offset. These subtle, yet noticeable, errors make the coin stand out from the rest of its production, and collectors are more than willing to pay a premium for these rare finds. Another error that can significantly increase the value of the 1979 quarter is the wrong mint mark. The 1979 Washington quarter was minted at several different locations, including the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. A rare error occurs when a coin that was supposed to be minted in San Francisco ends up with a Denver mint mark, or vice versa. These wrong mint mark coins are highly prized by collectors because of their rarity and the historical significance of the mistake, and if you happen to find a 1979 Washington quarter with both a double die error and a wrong mint mark, you might just have a collector's dream in your hands. The combination of these two errors makes the coin incredibly rare and highly sought after. Now, let's talk about how much this coin could actually be worth. If you find a pristine 1979 Washington quarter with rare errors or a unique minting flaw, it could be worth a staggering amount. Coins that are in mint condition and have these error characteristics can be valued at $65,000, yes, you heard that right, $65,000 for a quarter. It might sound unbelievable, but in the world of coin collecting, these types of coins are highly prized, and the demand for rare finds continues to increase as collectors search for pieces that hold both historical value and unique characteristics. So, how can you tell if your 1979 Washington quarter is worth a lot of money? First, take a look at the overall condition. If it's shiny with clear details and minimal wear, it's a good sign. Then, look closely at the date and lettering to see if there are any signs of double dies or other unusual characteristics. Finally, check for any mint mark discrepancies, as they can make the coin even more valuable. If you come across a 1979 Washington quarter with any of these rare characteristics, don't hesitate to have it appraised by a professional. You may just have a hidden treasure worth thousands of dollars. In the world of coin collecting, it's all about the hunt. Coins like the 1979 Washington quarter remind us that even the most unassuming pieces of currency can hold incredible value. So, the next time you're going through your change or looking through your collection, keep an eye out for that 1979 quarter. It could be worth far more than you think. Today's video is for you. We're talking about a truly fascinating coin today, the 1967 Washington quarter dollar. You might think it's just another quarter sitting in your collection or change jar, but trust me, there's a lot more to this coin than meets the eye. With its unique history, potential mint errors, and rarity, the 1967 Washington quarter could be worth far more than its face value. Let's first take a look at the context behind the 1967 Washington quarter. The year 1967 was a time of change in the United States. The country was going through major social and political shifts, and in the world of coinage, this quarter marked the midpoint of the 1960s, a decade that was anything but ordinary. This was a time when the United States was starting to face economic challenges, and the 1967 Washington quarter is part of that significant era. Now, you may be wondering, what makes this particular coin so valuable and sought after by collectors? Well, it's not just the fact that it was minted during a period of great change, but also the rarity and the potential mint errors that make it so unique and valuable. Let's break down the factors that could send this coin's value soaring. One of the first things to consider when determining the value of any coin is its condition. Coins, especially those that have been in circulation for many years, tend to lose their luster over time. Most of the 1967 Washington quarters you come across will show signs of wear, with faded details, scratches, and other imperfections. But here's the kicker: well-preserved, high-grade examples of this coin are incredibly rare, and they can bring a significant premium. If you come across a 1967 quarter in excellent, uncirculated condition, you found a treasure that could be worth much more than you initially thought. Collectors are always on the lookout for these well-preserved examples, as they offer a glimpse into the past without the damage of everyday circulation. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything, and a pristine 1967 Washington quarter is certainly worth your attention, but the excitement doesn't stop there. The 1967 Washington quarter is also known for its minting errors, which can make it even more valuable. Minting errors are unintentional flaws that happen during the coin production process. These mistakes can happen when a coin die becomes misaligned, worn out, or damaged. These errors result in coins that are truly one of a kind, and collectors love them. One of the most common and valuable errors in the 1967 Washington quarter is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin isn't properly aligned during the minting process, causing the design to be shifted off-center. The result is a misaligned design that can make the coin stand out from the rest. The more pronounced the misalignment, the more valuable the coin becomes. Coins with large off-center strikes are especially coveted, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for these unusual errors. Another error that makes the 1967 Washington quarter worth money is the double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly, creating a double image of the design. You might notice that the lettering, such as the word Liberty or the date 1967, appears doubled or ghosted. These double die errors are highly sought after by collectors because they are a rare anomaly that cannot be reproduced. But what if you discover a 1967 quarter with both an off-center strike and a double die error? Well, then you may have an extremely rare and valuable find on your hands. A coin with multiple minting errors can fetch a premium price, as collectors are always looking for the rarest examples of these coins. Now, let's get to the exciting part, the value. While most 1967 Washington quarters are worth their face value of 25 cents, those with rarity, high-grade condition, and minting errors can be worth far more. The most prized 1967 Washington quarters, the ones with significant errors or those in pristine condition, can command prices upwards of $78,000, yes, you heard that correctly, $78,000 for a single quarter. It might seem unbelievable, but in the world of coin collecting, coins like the 1967 Washington quarter are highly valued for their rarity and unique characteristics. Whether it's due to its minting error, its exceptional condition, or just being a rare find, this quarter can really surprise you in terms of value. So, what should you do if you come across a 1967 Washington quarter? First, give it a thorough inspection. Look for any signs of minting errors, especially those off-center strikes or double die issues. Check the overall condition of the coin as well. If it's in near mint or uncirculated condition, it could be a gem. And if you're unsure about its value, always consider getting it appraised by a professional numismatist. In the world of coin collecting, the 1967 Washington quarter is just one example of how an unassuming piece of currency can hold immense value. So, the next time you're sifting through your change or digging through your collection, take a moment to check your 1967 quarters. You might be sitting on a treasure worth thousands. Today, we have an exciting coin to explore, the 1971 Washington quarter dollar. You might be wondering, what makes this particular coin so special? Well, let me tell you, there's a lot more to this quarter than meets the eye, and in the world of numismatics, it's a piece that's definitely worth your attention. At first glance, the 1971 Washington quarter may seem like just another ordinary coin. After all, it was minted over 5 decades ago, so why should we care about this seemingly run-of-the-mill piece of currency? The answer lies in its rarity, the conditions in which it was circulated, and the minting errors that have made it incredibly valuable in the eyes of collectors. To understand why this coin is so intriguing, let's take a closer look at its history. The 1971 Washington quarter was minted during a time of transition in the United States. The country was emerging from the economic turmoil of the late 1960s and early 1970s, with inflation on the rise and the coinage system seeing some significant changes. This quarter, like others from the early 70s, was part of the last few years of the quarter's traditional design before the introduction of new series in the later part of the century. But what truly makes the 1971 Washington quarter so interesting isn't just its history, it's the rarity and errors that collectors are always on the lookout for. In the world of coin collecting, condition is king. The vast majority of 1971 quarters were widely circulated, meaning that they were subject to the wear and tear of everyday transactions. Most of the coins you'll find from this year are in fair or good condition, with worn designs and faded details. However, if you're lucky enough to come across one that's in exceptional condition, you could be holding something worth a lot more than just 25 cents. What's even more exciting is that some 1971 Washington quarters have minting errors that can significantly increase their value. One of the most common and highly sought-after errors is the double die. This occurs when the coin die shifts during the minting process, causing the design to appear doubled. On a 1971 quarter, you might notice doubled lettering or a doubled date, often on the word Liberty or the year 1971. These subtle, but noticeable, imperfections are what make the coin so valuable. Collectors are always on the hunt for these rare double die coins because they're unique and, in some cases, they can fetch a premium price. Another error that has been found on 1971 quarters is a misaligned die, where the design isn't perfectly centered on the coin. This results in off-center strikes, which can make the quarter stand out as an unusual and rarer specimen. A quarter with an off-center strike could be worth much more than a typical 1971 quarter, depending on how misaligned the design is. The more pronounced the error, the more valuable the coin becomes, and let's not forget about the high-grade specimens. As I mentioned earlier, coins that have been well preserved and have sharp details are incredibly rare. The 1971 Washington quarter may not be the most common coin, but finding one in mint condition is a real find. These coins, free from the damage of circulation, are in high demand, especially among collectors who specialize in pristine pieces. A coin with no scratches, fading, or damage will often command a premium price in the market. So, how much could a 1971 Washington quarter actually be worth? Well, if you found a well-preserved example or one with a minting error, it could be worth quite a bit more than face value. The 1971 Washington quarter can go from being worth just 25 cents to a whopping $70,000 when it's in top condition or has rare errors like the double die or off-center strike. Imagine finding a coin like that, something you might have overlooked in your change jar or collection, only to realize it's worth $70,000. It's a thrilling thought for any coin collector or investor, and it's what makes the 1971 Washington quarter so fascinating. So, the next time you're sifting through your change, keep an eye out for that 1971 quarter. It may not look like much at first glance, but if it's in excellent condition, or if it has a minting error, it could be a hidden gem. Don't just assume it's another ordinary coin, take a closer look, because that simple quarter might just be a rare and valuable find. Today, we're diving into a coin that might just be hiding in your collection or loose change, the 1982 Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, it might seem like just another quarter, but trust me, this particular coin has some intriguing qualities that make it far more valuable than its face value of just 25 cents. The 1982 Washington quarter is one of those coins that catches the eye of collectors for a few reasons. It was minted during a period of change in the United States, as the country was transitioning through the early 80s. In fact, the 1982 Washington quarter is one of those coins that can be easily overlooked if you don't know what to look for. However, with the right rarity, condition, and possibly even some minting errors, this unassuming coin could be worth a small fortune. First, let's talk about the history of the 1982 Washington quarter. At this time, the United States was still using the traditional designs on its quarters, and the Washington quarter had been around since 1932. The coin features George Washington on the obverse, with the iconic eagle on the reverse. Though the design remained unchanged for decades, there's something special about the 1982 version that makes it worth digging into. So, what is it about the 1982 Washington quarter that sets it apart from all the others? Well, for starters, condition plays a massive role in its value. You see, coins that were circulated heavily and have been passed through many hands tend to show a lot of wear. The designs become faded, the edges may be worn down, and the coin loses its initial luster. But, when you come across one of these coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, it's like finding a hidden gem. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins in top condition because these pieces are rare, and they command a premium in the marketplace. An uncirculated 1982 Washington quarter, with its sharp details and clean surfaces, is certainly a find worth keeping an eye out for, but there's more to it than just good condition. Another factor that makes the 1982 Washington quarter valuable are the minting errors that have been found over the years. Minting errors are unintentional mistakes made during the production of the coin. These can range from minor imperfections to major flaws that significantly alter the appearance of the coin. One of the most fascinating errors found on some 1982 Washington quarters is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank is misaligned during the minting process, resulting in a design that's off-center. The more extreme the misalignment, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. If you're lucky enough to find a 1982 quarter with a large off-center strike, you could be holding a coin worth significantly more than its face value. Another error you might come across is a double die. Double die errors happen when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly, causing a doubled image of the design. On a 1982 Washington quarter, this could result in doubled lettering in areas like Liberty or the date, 1982. These subtle errors can be hard to spot at first, but once you identify one, it could make the coin worth a lot more than you expect. But it's not just minting errors and condition that can increase the value of this quarter, rarity also plays a huge role. While millions of 1982 Washington quarters were produced, not all of them have survived in perfect condition or with a minting error. The ones that have managed to avoid the damage of circulation, or that carry an unusual flaw, are few and far between. These coins are highly sought after by collectors because they're not just pieces of currency, they're historical artifacts that tell a story about the times in which they were made. So, what's the value of the 1982 Washington quarter? Well, it might surprise you. A well-preserved 1982 quarter, especially one with a minting error, can easily fetch a premium price. If you're holding on to a high-grade example or a coin with a significant minting error, it could be worth up to $68,000. Yes, you heard that right, $68,000 for a single 1982 Washington quarter. It's absolutely amazing that something as simple as a quarter can hold such value, but it just goes to show how important rarity, condition, and errors are in the world of coin collecting. The next time you're checking through your change, make sure to take a closer look at those 1982 quarters. They may just be worth far more than you could have imagined. If you found this video interesting and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update on the fascinating world of coins. You never know, the next coin you find could be worth a fortune. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting.